I got my first internship at Microsoft. That was through my college. I just got a reality check of how things actually are in corporate, and I learned a lot, being like how big the things there are, how open are the problems, how do we actually think into things. And I think the experience that I had over here was very helpful for me to eventually actually interview and land up a job in Google. People always say that why DSA, 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 some subject that is being pushed very hard against them, that learn this, but they fail to understand when we enter corporate world, there are open problems given to you. So these open problems can only be tackled when.
Hi, and welcome to Googlify 2025. We have with us today Ms. Navya Sharma, software engineer at Google, who is also a tech speaker, mentor, hackathon judge. Navya has previously worked with Microsoft, is currently pursuing her master's in computer science at Georgia Tech. She's passionate about career growth, technology, empowering the next generation of engineers through talks, mentorship, community initiatives. From excelling in global tech companies to guiding students and professionals on their career journey, Navya brings a wealth of experience and inspiration. Hi, Navya. Welcome to Googlify
Thank you
2025.
so much.
So, Navya, we did the event in the morning. We have curated a few questions for you to discuss with you today,
Sure.
and we'll start from there. The first, obviously, being around your career path and journey. So, could you share the journey from Microsoft now to Google, from your engineering days, now moving into an top product company, working there, shifting to the next one, and now pursuing your master's?
So it's been a great journey. I would say too many stepping stones. It was not always up and up. It was full of up and downs. So I got my first internship at Microsoft. That was through my college. And it was just great being there, although it was online because of COVID. But it was great. There I just got a reality check of how things actually are in corporate. And I learned a lot, being like how big the things there are, how open are the problems, how do we actually think into things, and how the design discussions involved. So everything was very new to me. And I think the experience that I had over here was very helpful for me to eventually actually interview and land up a job in Google. So there I learned the importance of problem solving, that, sometimes people always say that why DSA, 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 but I see it as problem solving that you eventually learn when you do DSA, and which is you're going to carry forward to wherever you work. So obviously Google interviews are more about coding, and then I was able to get in through that, and then after that I thought that this is not it. I My passion is also, I wanted to invest my time in learning about AI and ML, which I didn't do in when I was in my BTech time. So I thought, why not do an online degree, because I was never sure about going to abroad for doing my master's. So I really loved the program, the concept of being it online, by when you can do it with your work also. So, and I was also able to learn and apply things in my work, fortunately, and the project went very well. So it's sort of motivation that I wanted to learn those things. So that's how, like, I'm balancing both the things together.
So, pulling out from the context that you gave, so for the students, just pointing out what you said in a very appropriate manner, I should say. DSA is not about solving 1,000
Yep.
questions on lead code. It's about understanding how to solve a problem and how to approach a problem. Great. That's here. Don't solve 1,000, but understand how to do that. Now, I have worked both Microsoft, Google, the top tech companies that most of the engineers around the country want to go for. And now you're pursuing your master's at Georgia Tech. How do you balance work with higher education? Because if you talk to any engineering grad today, they would say they're 9 to 5
Yes.
university, and then to manage their extracurricular that they want to is a tough task, and then to study extra for placements. So how do you manage that? Because time management is something which they do not
Right.
get on right.
I think the part where I am, like, I don't need the placement part over here, so I don't need to prepare for anything. But yes, time goes a lot because it's more of a specialization degree. You are specializing into some field, so that involves some deep study on those topics. It's not very generic degree in computer science. Yes, it does involve, sometimes you have to prioritize things, like, for example, on weekdays, work is always priority number one. You have to give time 8 hours to your work, make sure it's done on time, so that I have to take care of. But then I always make sure that at least I'm able to give 1 hour daily, so that I'm just keeping up with the content that is being taught in the lectures, right? And then sometimes on weekends, I have to compromise a bit on going out for socials with my friends, because that's what your priority is, right? Because it was my goal to study this. So it's my duty to balance it out And yeah, not all weekends are like this, but I have to balance my time such that I can prioritize the things which I really want to see me accomplishing. So I try to do my assignments and take my exams over weekends because it's usually convenient to spend more time and in a free way, not thinking about work. So that's how I mostly do it. Try to keep up with. So mostly the video lectures are recorded over there. So it's not like you have to be in class like online mode. It's video lectures are recorded. So it's very convenient, but at the same time, you have to keep up with the pace that the modules that the instructor is taking the class with. So, like prioritization and dedication to what you're doing, never give up attitude. It should not be like, yeah, now I am bored, can't do it, so I have to stop this in between. That's not the right way. If you have thought about something, I think take it to the accomplishment. There will be ups and downs. You'll feel very low sometimes that it's too much on my mind, too much pressure. So it'll happen, but don't let that inner instinct get killed.
Okay, for these engineers, I would say not to watch the season on the same day, delay it a bit, for prioritization to what assignments and others
Right,
are,
right.
and then you can go ahead. Take. Now, from your experience, which technical skills are critical for students preparing for product-based companies, and what should and how should they align themselves with the future trends that is there in terms of AI?
So skills are definitely, I would keep it into buckets. Technical skills are being taught in colleges. Definitely, all number one top things. DSA is being taught. Problem solving is being taught. But I still feel that, as I already pointed out, students feel that DSA is a burden to them, as in it's some subject that is being pushed very hard against them, that learn this, but they fail to understand that it's a way of teaching them problem solving, because when we enter corporate world, there are open problems given to you, which do not necessarily say that this is, for example, a hash map question or something that you have to do, right? So these open problems can only be tackled when you know the concept of problem solving, how to apply it in a very generic and conceptual manner. So I think that understanding still needs to be there in their mind. So that skill is very important. It doesn't matter if you know how to reverse a linked list or not. What matters is if you know the concept, like how does an actually linked list work? How can you implement the same thing using arrays? So very basic things, right? If you are given something new tomorrow, so you are able to go back to that concept, do some refinements on that, and come up with something new that actually works for the company. And that's what even we do today. So we might not implement the same BFS graph algorithm directly, but those concepts, they help you to create something new on the basis of them, right? And definitely, as I said, basic foundations of computer science like the database management systems, operating systems, which are being stressed very much in the course curriculum. So they are very fundamental things that you should know about engineering whenever you go to any company. And apart from that, I would say soft skills, because they're very important, because they show you how you are as a person. Even if you know a lot of technical stuff, but you cannot present yourself to someone, you cannot tell them who you are or what work you have done, I think then it's very hard for the other person to know you, to judge you as like if you're a good fit for that culture of that company or not. So how you as a person, your teamwork attributes, your communication, the way you talk, the way you gel with others matters a lot. And also having a very empathetic attribute towards others is also very important. And I think these things the students learn when they come in a teamwork setting, like working on different projects together or going to hackathons. So they should try to develop those things. That's what I
Great.
feel.
Uh, you work as a mentor for a lot of students. You have been speaker to multiple places. You judge hackathon. Now, for students to build a strong career foundation, what are the few important things that they should build on their resume, or they should build over the period that they spend in the university to stand out?
I think to stand out, generally I've seen nowadays this resume project thing has evolved so much. Everything is there on internet. You can easily search GitHub and find some code repositories, just pull them down and put it as your project. It's very easy to do that. Doing this can definitely, maybe, worst case, help you get some interviews, but around those interviews, you are being asked on your resumes that what you did, how you did, then there you'll fail definitely. Even if you try to fake it, it will be hard to make it till the end of the interview. So the idea is not to fake it, but just to try to learn those things. And I have personally seen that, sometimes our learning journeys, like you do some basic projects, learn them, make them, but I would say that putting those very basic projects in the resume is not at par with today's trend because there's so much competition in CS background, and especially when it comes to off-campus applications, there's a lot of them, right? So you need to game up there a bit. So because now everything is trending with AI, I'm not saying that everyone should go and learn about AI ML deeply. So, but just think of it as how it could actually fit into your domain. So, for example, if you are into web dev, app dev, or you're doing something with AR, VR, or something, just think about how you would actually integrate AI into your things because it's the trend, right? So everyone wants to see something. Are you going with the trend? Are you actually updated with the latest things or not? So it's the students' job to be updated and just see that where can they integrate into their work. If they're going to a hackathon, if they're making a project, just see the scope of how what can be done that can be taken help from the AI agents and all the agentic view of everything. So I think keeping updated with these things, using them in your project shows how latest updated you are with the trends and how much you have interest in learning all those things, and making projects based on them and then putting in your resume really shows that yeah, you have really put some effort in knowing about the industry, the things that are coming new, and actually working and integrating them. So that shows some effort that students have put an extra over the standard projects that can be easily downloaded or just copied from
So if
internet.
I put it in this way, they need to show their inclination and they need to show their learning ability that I want to do it by just implementing at a level what they can understand. Great. Now, as a woman engineer and global tech companies that you have worked with, what unique challenges you have faced and what advice you would want to give to young women aspiring to enter this tech industry?
Especially the thing that I've seen is, and it's getting better, but it's still not there yet in the engineering workforces where even we work, the ratio differences a lot, and the women employees engineering. Uh, if you see at higher levels, there are very less. So it's like a pyramid structure. Already at the base level, the ratio is very much disturbed. There are less female. But as you go up there in the ladder, even at higher leadership roles, there are more or less female representation. So I feel that this is a challenge because I've seen that the when it comes to more challenging roles where the voice matters, the decision making power matters. So I just feel that sometimes women representation is not that much still there. But yes, it's improving because nowadays people are taking that advantage of studying and doing something on their own, becoming independent. So my advice would be that do not ever have that imposter syndrome that in this field will I ever fit in there, irrespective of whatever field it is. Don't think it like this is some field which is male dominated or something where I might not be able to do it just because the society thinks so. So the right way would be to step up and just also try to build some allies over there, because nowadays it has become so open and so women supportive environment that there are allies all over there. Even men are there, women are there, and there are some special societies, NGO which cater that. So I think women need to understand that there are many different means to support them, but I think something should come from the inner self of them that they want to do this for themselves, and they can definitely.
Great. What are the top three things that students should focus today when they're targeting product companies like Microsoft and Google?
Yes, I think just to sum up whatever discussion we had till now, one thing is learning problem solving because it's a very generic view wherever you go. Then comes your communication and presentation skills, very, very important. It shows how you are as a person, how you can be with other people if you are in a company. Then the third one I should say is that how well can you adapt to different technologies, because things will keep on changing. Even like when I started working in my first project, things that were needed were really different. And now when I'm working, the tech stack is also changing, right? It totally depends on the need of what is going on, what's coming new. So adaptability is very important. Your ability to keep up with the latest trends and to adapt with the changing needs is also very important.
Great. I think so. You already started with rapid fire with that question. So let's move on the same way. One Google product that you love working with.
I like Google Maps a lot. I cannot imagine my life without that. I'm so much dependent on it.
Great. Most underrated skill for a software engineer.
I think it's empathy.
Oh, that's a new one, and that's a good one. That's needed for them. I would say any for
Yeah.
of job that you do,
Right.
but empathy is something that's very much important. Great. Hackathon memory that still inspires you.
Yeah, that's the one where we won. So there was one hackathon that was powered by Honeywell. So they had a good amount of cash prize and everything. So we were so motivated. It was in our college setting only. So we were a team of 5, 6 people from different domains, and then we participated. We were awake through 2 whole nights, and then we were able to back the first position and also got some cash reward. And that time you get inspired when you see any company who's powering that hackathon and they are facilitating you as the winner. It felt so proud at that time, and I really adored that till now.
Great. If not in tech, what would you be doing?
I think if not in tech, I really love dancing. I might have had my own dance studio. Yeah.
Great. And finally, how was your experience coming to Google 525 at LPO?
It's been really great. The event was so nicely done. All the hospitality is perfect. And I really loved how the energy was there in that auditorium. Like I've been to many colleges, but never seen this kind of energy. The energy with the people were wanting to listen. It was like they were just giving some positive vibe where we wanted to share more and more, right? And it was such nice. Their questions were really nice. It showed how maturely they are approaching this education thing. They're learning more about things. It was really nice interacting with them, and even after that, we had nice photo sessions and all. People were really sweet. All the organizing team is very sweet. Hospitality, the food was very good. So I really loved being here, and the campus is definitely great. Great tour. I loved it.
Thank you. Thank you for being here with us, sharing your experience with the students at Google 525. Thank you.
Thank you.